Some everyday things we do, like pretending to throw a ball or asking them to stand on two legs, might actually stress your dog out or make them feel downright miserable. But hey, no worries. In this video, I'll walk you through 15 common mistakes you'll want to avoid. Let's kick it off with the first one. 1. Constantly interrupting their sleep. Waking up your dog for no good reason? Yeah, not a great move. Imagine you're in the middle of a deep, peaceful nap and someone yanks you out of dreamland just because they feel like it. Not cool, right? Well, your pup feels the same way. Dogs need a lot of sleep. Depending on their age and activity level, they might snooze anywhere from 10 to 18 hours a day. That rest time helps their bodies recharge and their brains process everything they've learned and experienced. Constantly waking them up can make them cranky, anxious, or even lead to behavioral issues. And if your dog has ever growled or reacted badly when you startled them awake, it's not because they're aggressive, it's because they were genuinely freaked out. So let them sleep in peace. If you really need to move them, do it gently and give them a moment to wake up on their own terms. Their rest is just as important as yours. 2. Picking your dog up like a teddy bear. Lifting your dog might feel like a loving gesture to you, but for them, not always so great. Dogs are what's called cursorial animals, which means they're built to run, not to be cradled. When you pick them up, you're taking away their escape route, which can make them feel trapped and uneasy. Now, of course, every dog is different. Some love being held and see it as a sign of affection, but pay attention to how your dog reacts. Do they melt into your arms, or do they squirm and try to get away? That's their way of telling you how they really feel about being carried. And if your pup needs help getting onto a bed or couch, think about getting a little ramp instead. That way, they keep their freedom and you avoid the awkward wrestling match. 3. Forcing your dog to say hi to other dogs or people. Imagine if every time you stepped outside, someone made you shake hands with random strangers on the street. Awkward, right? That's basically what it feels like for your dog when you push them to greet everyone and every dog you come across. It's super common, especially with puppies. You're out on a walk and think, oh, socializing time. But even if your pup is the friendliest floof in the neighborhood, they don't always want to mingle, and that's perfectly okay. Some dogs are social butterflies. Others, more like introverts who'd rather skip the meet and greet. Let your dog decide when and how they want to interact. Forcing it can actually make them more anxious in the long run. When you give them that choice, you build their confidence, and that's a win for both of you. 4. Making your dog stand on two legs. Teaching your dog to walk on two legs might look cute on TikTok, but it's actually a recipe for joint disaster. Dogs were built to walk on all fours, evenly spread weight, nice and balanced. When you make them stand upright like a tiny furry human, it puts a ton of stress on their spine, knees, and ligaments. And if you do it often, it can lead to chronic pain, arthritis, and long-term mobility issues. Big breeds are especially at risk, but honestly, no dog is totally safe from the wear and tear this can cause. If you've already played this little trick with your pup, don't panic. Just keep an eye out for these signs of joint stress. Limping. Not wanting to play or exercise like usual, mood changes or sudden irritability, trouble getting up or lying down. Instead of upright circus tricks, go for games that strengthen their back legs in a safe way. Hiking, light agility training, or even just letting them run freely in nature are much better options. Your dog's joints will thank you later. 5. Not sticking to a routine. Your dog is happiest when life has a rhythm. That includes walks, meals, and playtime. It all matters. Routines help them feel safe and relaxed because they know what's coming next. And no, I'm not saying you have to become a robot. You can still be spontaneous here and there, but having consistent basics makes a huge difference. Just remember, your dog doesn't control when it's dinner or potty time. They rely on you for those things, and having a predictable schedule helps reduce stress. So even if your own life feels like a whirlwind of chaos, try to carve out a little consistency in the day for your furry sidekick. It'll help them feel loved, secure, and totally in sync with you. 6. Skipping proper training. Don't expect your dog to just magically know how to behave. Training is where the magic actually happens. A lot of people assume dogs are just born knowing the rules of the house. But that's like expecting a toddler to know calculus without ever stepping foot in a classroom. Not gonna happen. Your pup needs guidance, consistency, and practice to figure out what's okay and what's not. Training isn't just about teaching commands. It's about building communication between you and your dog. When you put in the effort, you're laying the foundation for a stress-free, awesome life together. And speaking of training, that brings us to the next point. 7. Having unrealistic expectations. Let's face it, your dog is never going to be perfect. And guess what? That's totally okay. Even with all the training in the world, dogs have off days, just like we do. One day they're nailing every command like a canine genius, and the next they're chasing a squirrel across the park like they've never heard the word stay in their life. That doesn't mean your training failed. It means your dog is a living, breathing creature with a personality, instincts, and yep, the occasional bad day. The key is to work with their nature, not against it. Train them, guide them, but also accept them as they are. That's how you build a real, lasting bond. 8. Faking a ball throw. Let's make one thing clear. Don't mess with your dog's feelings. Pretending to throw the ball and then hiding it? Yeah, it's not as funny as you think. For your pup, it's confusing, frustrating, and honestly kind of rude. What seems like a harmless prank can actually cause anxiety and trust issues. Fun fact, professional protection dog trainers sometimes use frustration to trigger aggression. So yeah, it's not just a silly game. I'll admit it, I used to do this with my dog. But once I learned how it really affects them, I stopped. Treat your dog with respect. That trust you've built, it's worth protecting. 9. Using harsh cleaning products. Before you break out the heavy-duty bleach, stop and think about your dog's nose. They smell way better than we do, which means harsh chemicals hit them like a brick wall. What smells lemony fresh to you might be overwhelming or even toxic for your dog. And let's not forget, they're walking all over those freshly cleaned floors with bare paws and then licking them later. Yikes. Cleaning is important, of course, but go for pet-safe products when you can. It'll keep their paws healthy and their little sniffers happy. 10. Punishing your dog. Look, yelling might feel satisfying in the moment, but it's not the fix you think it is. If your dog chews up your favorite sneaker and you shout, sure, they might stop. For now. But fear-based obedience doesn't build trust. It builds tension. Long-term, punishment damages a relationship and doesn't teach your dog what to do, only what not to do. Instead, focus on positive reinforcement. Reward the good stuff with treats, affection, and praise. It makes learning fun and builds a bond that actually lasts. 11. Forgetting your dog's natural instincts. Let's be real. Your dog isn't a piece of IKEA furniture. You can't just set it and forget it. Dogs have natural instincts that need to be satisfied. Chewing, sniffing, running. It's not optional, it's essential. If you ignore these basic needs, you're gonna end up with one frustrated dog and probably a destroyed couch. So build these activities into your daily routine. Give them things to chew, places to sniff, and space to run. It's not spoiling them, it's keeping them balanced, happy, and bonus, less likely to eat your shoes. Oh, and before we move on to the next one, quick heads up. Head over to happydogsplace.com/gift and grab a free guide filled with simple tips to keep your pup happy and entertained. It's packed with fun ideas to reduce stress and make their tail wag even more. Check the description for the link. You don't want to miss this. 12. Petting them on the head. It might seem like a sweet gesture to you, but reaching straight for a dog's head, not always the best idea. In dog language, that kind of move can feel a little pushy. Dogs typically approach each other from the side, not head-on, because going straight for the head can seem dominant or even threatening. This is super important if you're meeting a dog for the first time, or teaching kids how to greet one. Instead of going in for the top pat, offer your hand from the side and let them give you a sniff. Then, if they seem relaxed, try a gentle pet on the chest or back. 13. Kissing them. Now this one might break your heart a little. You love giving your dogs kisses, right? It feels like the purest form of love. But for dogs, getting a face full of human smooch can be confusing or even stressful. In their world, face-to-face contact isn't usually a sign of affection. It can be interpreted as a threat, especially if they're not used to it. Sure, some dogs love kisses, especially if it's coming from their human, but every dog is different. So before planting one right on their snout, check their body language. Did they lean in with happy eyes and a waggy tail, or did they pull back a little? That'll tell you if your kiss is being taken as love or as please don't. And hey, if your dog's not into kisses, don't worry. There are plenty of other ways to show them just how much they mean to you. 14. Watching you argue. Your dog might not understand the words in an argument, but oh boy, do they feel everything. Angry voices, intense energy, fast movements, it all makes them super uncomfortable. Dogs are emotional sponges. When things get heated at home, they soak up that stress like it's their job. So yeah, life happens, and sometimes arguments are unavoidable. But for your dog's sake, try to keep your cool around them, or take your disagreements somewhere else. Your pup deserves a peaceful vibe, not a front row seat to the drama. 15. Switching their food too quickly. Thinking of changing your dog's food overnight? Hold up, unless you're planning on scrubbing the floor and calling the vet. A sudden switch in diet is a one-way ticket to stomach chaos. Diarrhea, vomiting, gas, you name it. Here's a much better idea. Follow the 10% rule. Start with 90% of their usual food and 10% of the new stuff, and shift the ratio by 10% each day. Slow and steady wins the race. So, did this video open your eyes a bit? If you found it helpful, you're gonna love what's next. Check out the video on screen now. It's all about the 12 signs that your dog is truly happy and healthy. Seriously, if your pup could talk, they'd be begging you to watch it. Go ahead, tap that thumbnail and keep learning.